BF Bot Manager First Time User Guide to the 7-Day Free Trial. This video is for people who have just downloaded the BF Bot Manager on the 7-Day Free Trial and they don't know what to do with the software. And you just want to get straight into it, make it work, see what it does. So I'm going to try and walk you through what you can do with this software. So of course the first thing you need to do is download the software. You can download it for free on a 7-day trial. If you haven't downloaded it yet, please download it through the link on my website or the link under this video. My website's bettingsystemsguide.com, and if you scroll down you'll see the BF Bot Manager icon. Click on that and it'll take you to the BF Bot Manager website. There it's got try for free, and you can try it for free, download it. You can choose the Betfair version and enter your information and you can get a free 7-day license for that. Download the software, install it, enter your Betfair details and enter the free license key that you'll get, and then start up the software. It should look something like this. So what do? You've got 7 days to test this out, see if you want to pay for it and see what it can do. I've been using the BF Bot Manager software for a very long time and I've seen it develop, and now it really is one of the most versatile pieces of betting software you can get for use with Betfair. If you do want to put the time and effort into learning how to use a piece of software that can enable automated betting for you, then this is the one you need to put your time into. It really is worth it once you understand how it works. And the best way to learn how anything works is just play with it, just get into it. So what should you do? Well, I recommend these 10 steps that I'm going to take you through now. First, you make sure you're in simulation mode, you're not in real mode. The BF Bot Manager can be run in simulation mode or in real mode. You'll see at the top right hand corner which one you're in. When the software boots up first time, it should always be in simulation mode. And every time you switch on in the future as well, it should always start in simulation mode. And that means it won't place any real bets on Betfair. So it's good for playing around and testing what it does. If you go to the home screen, you can change it between simulation mode and real mode. So make sure you're on simulation mode for this bit. The next step, I recommend switch on all the example bot strategies. Just get them going. The bot strategies will be in the bot strategies tab. There are 2 ribbons here. There's at the top and there's another one here. So click on the strategies tab and you should have all these example strategies here. If you do not see them there, then click on restore examples. If you fiddled with the examples and you want to reset them back to the beginning, just delete them all and click on restore examples. If you want to know how to delete everything, click on select all strategies and click delete selected. Are you sure you want to delete them? Yes. And then bring them back, restore the examples, and it will restore the originals. So if you have fiddled with them before coming to watch this video, then you can reset them if you want to. And I recommend just start them all. So click on the start all phrase. Yes, this is in simulation mode, so it's not placing any real bets, but let's just get them all started to see what they do. The next step, step 3, you need to set up market auto loading. Let's take a look at one of the strategies. Let's look at the top one. Example, horses lay 1 favorite with recovery. If you click on the show hide tabs button, it will open that up and then we can see the rules that this bot strategy has. In the bets tab, it has no bets. It has not found any bets to place yet. The market conditions tells it which markets it's allowed to bet on. The selection conditions tell us which horse within each market it can bet on. The price settings tell us what price it will look at and place bets at. The staking rules tells us what kind of staking plan we use. And then the after bet rules tells it what to do afterwards if you want it to hedge or do some other things. And safety rules, you can add additional safety rules of when to stop this strategy from making new bets. The reports tab will give us information about why it is or isn't betting on certain markets, and other information tells us when it was started and when it was reset and when it was stopped. So first of all, this is a horse racing bot. In the market conditions, in the events filter, it's telling it to look for only horse events. And the markets filter is telling it to look for win markets. Next, let's look at the markets tab, and we see a lot of empty here. This is because we've not loaded any markets. We can quickly load markets just by clicking on these icons up here, like we can load all the horse win races. We can load all the greyhound markets. We can load all the match odds, the over under 2.5 goals for the next 1 day. And also you can set up auto loading. Let's go here and this are some of my old ones there. So here you could click add new, and then let's say we want we want it to always load up horse racing markets every time this bot switches on. So let's click on the market types. If nothing comes up here, click refresh. Okay, let's always load win and place markets for the next 1 day. Yeah, that's enough. If you only want to load markets that are going in play, you can select that here. If you only want to load markets that are in play now, you can click here. If you only want to load markets that have that are BSP markets, you can click here. But for the moment, we just want all horse racing for the next 1 day. Okay, so I'll save that. And I want it to auto reload the markets every, well, let's say every 6 hours. It will refresh that. I'll click save and then make sure this tick is on here. Oh, it doesn't have a name. Settings name, I'll call it horses 1 day. Save. Okay, so I've got horses set up. Okay, I also want football, so I'll add another one. Okay, let's choose football. What market types? Let's have match odds the next 1 day, that's fine. But to do auto reload markets, save. Okay, let's do dogs as well. You might already, I think by default, I think it also has a dogs one set up. You may see that there might be some that are already here and you just need to switch them on. So if you do see ones that are already there, you can just click on them to switch them on. So here I've got football, horses, and dogs set up. Okay, then I click save and close. Okay, so now we have lots of markets. That's great. And here on the markets, you'll see some colors here on the start time. When it's green, it means it's in play now. When it's yellow, it means it's not in play now, but this market is being monitored by the software. If it has no background, it means it's not being monitored yet. You can edit how far in advance you want markets to be monitored in the Tools and Settings tab in the Monitoring settings. And here it says time to start monitoring markets before start time, 30 minutes. I think 30 minutes is the default. But for example, if you wanted to monitor markets for the start or kick off in the next hour, then you could change it to 60 minutes. For the moment, we don't really need to fiddle with this. We can just leave it at its default value, which I think is 30 minutes. That's okay for the testing time. Okay, so now we have markets loaded and running. So there's market data for the bots and strategies to look at and to place bets. Okay, so now we can see that already some of the bots have already placed some bets and they've won. So let's see what they've been doing. Here we can see our horses bot here wins. This column wins and total. So it's made a total of 1 bet and one of those bets has won. Whereas this greyhounds one has made 3 bets and one of those bets has won. If we go a little bit further on, it says market wins. You see here it's placed bets on 1 market. And this one has also placed bets on 1 market. So these 3 bets were all on the same market. And it gives us information about the strike rate. It's won all of its bets, so it has a strike rate of 100%. This has won 2 out of 6 bets. That's a 33% strike rate. But in terms of its market strike rate, it's had 100% wins because it's made a profit on both markets it's been betting on. This is a greyhounds Dutching 2, 3, and 4th favourite. So it's placing back bets on the 2nd favourite, the 3rd favourite, and the 4th favourite. And if one of them wins, you make a profit. So it's basically hoping that the favourite doesn't win and the other worse horses don't win either. And then it makes a profit. One thing I just want to say when you're looking at these strategies is when you do see them making money in simulation mode, please note that these are just example strategies. They will not work long term. They will not work. I'll just say this again. They will not make profit long term because everybody who uses the software gets these. These are examples of strategies that will work if you have the right selection method. So this software is a tool to automate your betting system. You're not buying a betting system with this software. It just automates the betting system you have. And it gives you examples of how you can automate your betting system if your betting system is similar to one of these. But these, if you just let them go, they might make profit in the short term, but in the long term, they won't. I know, I've tried. But they may, I know some of them will make profit if you have the right selection method. And that's either by you doing a lot of research and finding and testing your own selection method and getting that to work, or you follow a tipster that has a selection method that works that you can apply to these bots. So I just want to say that straight away, that you might see some profits coming up in your 7-day free trial, but that is just luck from short-term volatility, and that will not last forever. And some of these have quite dangerous staking plans, in my opinion. So they're just an example of what you can do with it, but you need to find your own selection method. But if you have the right selection method, then some of these will make a profit. So we're in simulation mode. We've switched on all the bots. We have set up market auto loading. The next thing is to try and understand it a little bit more. So step 4 is to look at each bot and try to understand its rules. So let's look at this horses bot. It's made 2 bets, and we can see here the first bet has already been settled. It laid somebody, and this is called lay the first favorite with recovery. If we click on this edit button, actually it'll give us an explanation here of what it is. Its description is, it lays the first favorite with overall loss recovery. It will auto restart after 5 consecutive losing markets. That's probably a safety feature because it's got a recovery staking plan, which could just go up and up and up if it has no limit. It will only place its next bet when all previous bets are settled. So it waits for because it's a recovery staking plan, it must know if the previous bet is won or lost before it can place its next bet. And it says again here, this is just an example strategy. It's not profitable or a best strategy. You just use it in simulation mode to learn how the software works. So this is laying the first favorite. So it's laid the first favorite and it's won. Well done. So and then it's placed another bet on the next race. If we look at the market conditions, so the market conditions tell it which markets it's allowed to bet on. It says here unsettled markets. This is a rule that tells it that the bot will only place a bet when the number of markets with active unsettled bets is less than 1. So basically, when there are 0 unsettled bets, it can place a bet on the next qualifying market. If you click on the edit tab, it gives you the details of that. And in theory, you could change that to another number of unsettled markets if you wanted to for your own original strategy. We can see the time to bet here is set at 10 seconds before the market goes in play. So it's placing its bet 10 seconds before the start of the race. And here you can change that to anything you want. You can have it placing bets, 106 hours before the race, or 10 seconds, or whatever setting you want. Just switch it to 27 for fun there. Next, there's a rule over rounds, and for people wondering, what's an over round? And it says here, back prices min-max over rounds are 100 to 115%. Lay prices min-max over rounds are 85 to 100%. Easy way to explain this, just go and have a look at Betfair. So sometimes if you're confused about the bot, a good thing to do is just go back and look at the actual Betfair website. On this horse racing market, you can see 105%, 96%. That just tells you how developed a market is. You can see here the prices are quite close. That's quite a developed market. So these are valid prices. They're good prices. It's okay to bet on them, I think. This market, been suspended now. But you can see here there's no bets on the other side. And there's lots of bets on the backside. And here we've got 600% and 12% for the over round. So it's come up now. Basically, the closer the number is to 100%, the more mature a market is, the better the prices are. You can see for markets that are not quite developed yet, like there's quite a big gap between these numbers. The over round here, 146% on the back side and 59% on the lay side. So these are not good. This is not a developed market, so we wouldn't want a bot to start placing bets on this market. So basically, the over rounds rule is just to make sure the bot won't place bets on markets that are not developed. And you can change this to be stricter if you want. That's something to play with later. We can leave it as it is for now. The markets filter tells it what kind of markets it wants to bet on. This is betting on win markets, not place markets. The events filter is telling it to bet on horse racing, not other events. So that tells it which markets it can look at. The selection conditions. Here we have a back and lay price ratio. What's that? Again, this is another safety rule. It's saying here the max ratio between back and lay price is 15%. If you click on this, it's a bit easier to understand because it also says a maximum difference in ticks between back and lay price or a minimum difference in ticks between back and lay price. Basically, if we look at a Betfair market, if the prices are close together, we think, oh yeah, this is probably an okay price. But when the prices, there's a big gap between them, then no, this is a terrible price. I shouldn't bet at that price, no matter how much I want to bet on that result. When the odds are close together, when there's not much of a gap between them, then it's okay we think that it's okay to bet on that. So if we look at this Birmingham Millwall market, we can see that the prices are very close together. There is just one tick between each of their prices. It's like 3.2 to 3.25. There's basically no gap between them. And there you can see the over round is 100.6% and 99.4%. So this is it tells us that gives a measure of the competitiveness of the prices on offer. It's calculated by adding up the individual percentage chance of every selection based on the price that is being offered, often referred to as the overround. So here, this is a good market, yeah? But if we look at this market, there's a little bit more of a gap building up here. This is 5.4. If we go up by ticks, 1 tick, 2 tick, 3 ticks. There's a 3 tick, there's a 2 tick gap between these. So basically, this rule says how big the gap can be between the back and lay odds. 15% is the default, but some people but if you want to do it by ticks instead of a percentage, that's fine too. I'll just leave it as it is for now. This is a key rule next, the min-max selection price. This bot is only allowed to place bets on horses that have a favorite by position 1 with a price range between 1.01 and 4.5. Let's go have a look at a market for this. So go back into the markets. Let's find a horse racing market. Okay, so in the horse racing market, the order here, as we can see them here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is order by runner. And if we look at odds, the favorite is of course the one with the lowest odds. So the favorite by position 1 here is Can't Bluff. Favorite by position 2 would be the next one up by odds, which is... Oh, this one's gone in play now, which is why it's changing so much. Let's look at another. Okay, the favourite by position 1 here is actually this horse. Is favourite by position 1 with odds of 2.84 steel screens. Favourite by position 2 would be this one here with odds of 4.2. So this bot will only allow betting on a selection on a horse that has odds between 1.01 to 4.5. And here it has a bet type by favourite position, and it says bet type on runner with favourite position 1 is lay. So it looks for the runner in favourite position 1, which is the first favourite, the favourite in the race, and it puts a lay bet on there. But only if its odds are from 1.01 to 4.5. So looking at our markets, for example, this race, this race in Milton, race 8, the favourite here has odds of 2.74. Well, actually, the lay odds are now 4.7. Would it bet on that? So it's the lay price for the favourite must be up to 4.5. So in this market, it would not place a bet here because it's at 4.7. If it drifts down to 4.5, it will place a bet, but at 4.7, it won't place a bet. Still a little bit of time before this starts, so the prices might come closer together. I think there's a bit of a gap between. Oh, look, it's just dipped to 4, so now it's at 4. So it would place a lay bet on that horse, and when it places that bet, it's going to look at the price rules, the price settings. It says initial price is currently available price is worsened by 2 ticks. The currently available price for the selected bet type, in this case we're laying, so it will place a lay bet at the current lay price. So in this horse market, the current lay price is 4.2. Okay, it keeps moving around. So as soon as that gets to a level it can bet on, under 4.5, it will place a lay bet at this lay price, not at the back price, but at the lay price. And it says here it will worsen by 2 ticks. Here it will ask for a worse price. This should ensure your bet gets matched. Asking for a worse price means it will place a lay bet at 2 ticks worse than this price. So if the price is 4, it will place a lay bet at 4.2, which is 2 ticks worse than 4 for lay bets. That's just in case there's not enough liquidity at 4 to cover your bet, so it will place bets at 4.2. If there's still lay money there at 4, you'll get your bet matched at 4. And then if there's not enough there, it'll match more bets at 4.1. And if there's not enough there, it'll match at 4.2. And if it's still not enough liquidity there, it will remain, the rest of it will stay there as an unmatched bet on the 4.2. So that's what that does. And then how much is it going to bet? That's decided by the staking. Here it says level initial stake of £1. And so it'll bet £1 on that. And it's got a staking plan overall loss recovery. It's a bit of a complicated staking plan, but basically it says the recovery rate is 100% with max liability €100. From each loss, 100% will be recovered. Unrecovered loss will be saved and recovered in next session. Recover losing bet stakes too. Basically, if you lose a bet, it will try and recover all 100%, all of that bet on the next bet. So basically, what do these settings mean? First, I just want to look at this one here. It says amount of lost money to recover. This is how much of your lost money do you want to recover? We want to recover all of it. If you just want to recover half of it, change it to 50%. And this recovery rate at the top means recover all of your lost money on the next bet. If you change that to 50, it means recover all 100% of your lost money over the next 2 bets. So 50% on the next bet, 50% on the bet after that. Or if you change that to 25, then recover all of your lost money over the next 4 markets, 25% on each market. This one is set to 100 at the moment. And this bot is set to only bet a maximum of €100 when it's recovering. It's starting with a level stake of 100, but that can quickly go up if you're recovering losses, which is why, and so I think it will definitely reach that max liability after a few losses. So basically, when it makes a loss, it's just going to increase its bet to recover that on the next bet. And then if it loses again, it'll try and recover all your losses up till then on the next bet and the next bet. So things will escalate very quickly. This is really dangerous. So you could only use this if you have a betting system that works on level stakes. I've written a book called The Staking Plans Book, and I know what I'm talking about. No staking plan will take a strategy that loses money on level stakes and make it work. You might get lucky in the short term, but in the long term, you will lose. So staking plans are to make strategies that work on level stakes work better. So any selection system you have, it must first work on level stakes. And then you can try adding different staking plans to it to make things go faster. So if you can find a selection system that even gives you 0.01% ROI over 1,000 bets, boom, you're there. You have a working betting system. And then maybe you can put some staking plans on top of that. But anything that doesn't work on level stakes, no staking plan is going to make that work. So just because it works short term, and this will work short term, long term it won't, and it will destroy your bank. So be very careful with recovery systems, and basically I don't recommend them at all. It's level stakes, percentage staking, target profit staking, secure staking, my own Whitaker staking. Those are the things you should be using, not recovery staking. Everybody has different opinions there. That's just my opinion. So this is fun to watch, but it will make you go bankrupt, so be very careful with it. But if you do research a selection system that has a positive yield, positive ROI on level stakes, then maybe it could work. It could work for you, but be very careful and do it with low stakes at the beginning if you're using any recovery staking plans. Let's look at the after bet rules. This doesn't have any. Let's look at the safety rules. It says pause, restart after wins or losses. And it says after 5 consecutive losing markets, restart strategy. Basically what that does is if it keeps losing, after 5 losing bets, the stakes are going to be very high. The 6th bet trying to recover 5 lost bets is going to be very large. So it just cuts your losses and say, we give up. We give up now. We just start again from 0. So that's why it's a safety rule and not actually part of the staking plan. The reports, now we've got markets loaded, we can see the reports actually giving us information. And this reports tab tells us why it is or isn't placing bets. So you saw just there, I'm just going to pause now. And pause all. Yes, stop everything. I'm just pausing it so that we can have a look at that. So I just paused everything so we can actually just go back to that. So here you see it says here status all satisfied. That means all the rules are satisfied, so it tries to place a bet on this horse because all the conditions and rules are satisfied, trying to place bet on Kamakura 1, size 1, so it gives information. Then the next type of report is immediately afterwards, all rules satisfied, all rules were satisfied, and strategy sent requests to place bets. And then the next, almost instantaneously, look, it's all at 18 seconds past 42 minutes, placed bet green, the bet is placed, selection Kamakura 1, and there's a bet ID. And that's, you can see exactly why it's placed a bet there. For example, other horses, like the one underneath here, it says not satisfied. So all the rules were not satisfied. Which one? Time to bet was not satisfied, so it didn't place a bet. For other ones, unsettled markets does not satisfy unsettled markets, so it didn't place a bet, of course, because we've got one active now. And if we go to the bets column, we can see that bet there. There it is, matched there. And this is France, La Teste de Bush. And so try and find that. Let's go to the markets and let's find that. What time is it? It's the 8:40. The 8:40. Can I find that? Is that it? Yeah, there's the race. And actually here, if you look on the right here where it says bets, there's now a dark background there because it shows I've got bets on this market, and I can see them. Oh, quite a few bots have bet on this, and I can see the selections there. If we were in real mode, here we would see our possible profit and loss here, but because this is not real mode, we can't see that. It's just simulation mode. But in simulation mode, we can still see what bets have been placed, what simulation bets have been placed. And the report in the market screen, the reports are just telling us about over rounds here. So there's the bets. So we can see the bets in the market screen for that market. We can see the bet by this bot in the bot strategy screen, and we can also find that bet in the bet screen. If we go to the bet, we go down to the bottom, maybe we can find that somewhere there. Yep, there, Kamakura 1, we can see it there as well. So there's 3 places we can see. There's a result page, and that's just results of different events, but it won't have our bet result. The bet result will come up here. You can see settled bets and how much they won or lost. So when a bot places a bet, you can find that same bet in the market screen, in the bets tab, and you can find that same bet here. Once you start to be able to see where your bets are being placed, it becomes a bit easier to understand stuff. Well, let's let that report thing start moving again. Start all. Yes, start all. Okay, start going again. So it's going to start looking for stuff again now. And the other information tab tells us when we started and stopped stuff and what the profit and loss was at that point. So, oh, nice, we had a loss. So just as an example here, the staking plan is a recovery one, and you can see that we lost a bet here, and we've just been laying pounds since then. But after that loss, it made a bigger bet to try and recover £2.66, and it also laid another £1 stake. So it's laying £3.66, which is the regular stake of £1 plus the lost £2.66. And this is a lay amount. So if we're laying at odds of 4, we're laying 3 times that amount because it's a lay bet. So we're actually risking about £10 to win this money back. And if we lose 4 or 5 in a row, that's going to escalate very quickly. So in this way, we're still at step 4. Look at each bot and try to understand its rules. So here we were looking at this bot and looking how the different rules work. And there's several bots to look at and see how they all work and why they're placing bets, why they might not be placing bets. And by looking at the different bots, and slowly maybe just get familiar with some of the words that are going to come up when you're looking at the manual or watching more videos about BF Bot Manager. So have a look through the different example bots and see if you can find where you see the bets here. Take a look at the markets it's actually betting on. And if you get a bit confused, you can always find that market on the Betfair website itself. The next thing I recommend to do after you've done that is, we've done step 5 there as well. Yeah, if a bot makes a bet, find that same bet in the strategies page, the markets page, and the bets page. The reason why that's important is so that when you are making your own bots and it makes a bet you didn't want it to make, you wonder why, or you're looking for that bet, then you can find that bet in different places and get information about it. The next step, step 6, is download and read the manual, sections 2 and 3. So now no one likes to look at the manual. You get a new piece of software, you just play with it. You get a new game, you play with it. You get a new anything, you play with it. But once you've taken a proper look at the different rules and some of the words are starting to come up, market conditions, selection conditions, time to bet, unsettled markets rules, now it's worth looking at the manual. You've only got 7 days, so yeah, just look at sections 2 and 3, I recommend. So on the Betfair website, click on the Help tab, click on the manuals, and there are PDF manuals. And you can download the PDF manual in English for free, and this is very, very useful. It's been updated, I think, last year, and they keep it up to date. And in the manual, I recommend look at part 2 and part 3. Part 2 because it takes you through those example strategies and explains them. And then, if possible, I recommend also read the key concepts because they are important. They're the key concepts in section 3. Yeah, 3 up to 3.4. Definitely try to read, and if you can get through all of part 3, that's good. Once you've read through that, if you go back to your bot, you should have lots of results now building up. It might look like a lot of green, and you're going, oh wow, I want to put this in real mode and make some money. But just remember, these will not make money long term. They're just having a lucky positive run. If you have a selection method for them, they may work. In fact, I think they do work, but you need a selection method. So after you've read the manual sections 2 and 3, you think you understand it a bit better. The next challenge I recommend to you is number 7, duplicate and edit the bots. What should you do with them? Well, just first try to change them to level stakes for monitoring the core strategy edge. As I said, like this first one, this horses one, it's using a recovery staking plan. So it looks like it works, but long term, will it work? You'll only know if it works on level staking. And at the moment, there's no real market conditions here. So it's betting on every favorite with odds of under 4.5, just laying every favorite. Will that work long term? I don't think so. You need a few extra conditions in there. So just to learn to play with things, like how to duplicate things and edit them, I recommend take the strategies that have staking plans like recovery systems and convert them to a level stakes version and run them alongside, and you'll see exactly what I mean when I say they don't have an edge. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, I recommend deselecting all strategies. At the moment, all of these are ticked. So if I click duplicate strategy, it's going to duplicate all of them. So let's deselect that. So first of all, I'm just going to select this horses one, and I'm going to click duplicate selected. There we are. So this is now duplicated over here. So I've got this horses one here. And what I want to do first is restart that here, get rid of its old data, and the all-time profit and loss. I want to get rid of that too. I'm going to click, type 0, okay, let's reset there. Let's open this up, and I want to keep it as it is, except I don't want this overall loss recovery. So I'm going to delete that rule, left click, yes, delete. So now it's just going to lay the favorite for €1. And I don't need it to restart after every 5 losses because it's not doing recovery now. I just want to find out if this selection method works, which it doesn't. And so I can start that now. Good luck. Yep, match one there. And another thing we can do here, because it's not doing a recovery, we don't need to have this unsettled markets rule, because that's going to mean it's only going to bet on the next race once it's settled the previous one. But I don't need that rule anymore because I'm just doing level stakes. I don't need to know what happened in the previous race. And in fact, I want to collect data on as many races as possible. So I'm also going to delete this unsettled markets rule. So now it can place lots of bets. And I just want to show you a cool little feature. At the top here, right click on any of these bars here and choose column chooser, left mouse button, and double click on unmatched matched. This is going to give a new column here that tells me how many unmatched and matched bets this strategy has. So at the moment it's got 0 unmatched bets and 2 matched bets. If I look at the bets tab here, I have my 2 bets here. Or this one has 4 matched bets. Can I see them here? Yes. So I cancelled there. So that's quite useful to show which ones are active right now. So that's a good column to add. And if you want to get rid of a column, you can just click it. You can just right click, choose column chooser, and drag it into there. Oh, some of them you can't move. Okay, if I wanted to get rid of it, I could drag it back, but I want it, so I want it here. Okay, so that's my duplicate strategy there. That's just going to lay every favorite horse there. If I wanted to change the name of this strategy, I could do that here. So, but I'm just going to leave it like that for the moment. I've managed to change that one to level stakes. Another useful thing I just want to show you is when you have similar strategies, you can group them together. So in this edit here, let's give them a name. I'm going to call them lay fave horses. Okay, I'm just gonna copy that, save, and where's the other horses one? Here it is. This is the same one, isn't it? And in the group by, I'm gonna paste in that same name. And now in this group by column, I can see they both have there. If I right click on group by and choose group by this column, and then click here, there's all the other ones, and then, oh, here's my horses one. And now they're grouped together, so I can see them nice and easily, and I can compare them easily as well as they go along. And once you start making level stakes bots, then you'll be able to see the win rate and be able to calculate the ROI on that. Now, there's a bit of a debate that comes up with me and other users of BF Bot Manager, and at the moment, this horse racing strategy is laying €1. So what that means is that when the odds are lower, you're risking less, and when the odds are higher, you're risking more. And for some people, that's not technically level stakes, is it? Because you're actually risking different amounts of money. If that was backing, that would be called target profit staking, where we adjust how much we bet to win the same amount. So if you're of that point of view, then let's duplicate this again, and let's make a lay strategy that risks the same amount on every bet. So again, deselect all strategies and just click the strategy I want to duplicate, this one, and then click duplicate selected. Okay, there it is. And again, I'm going to have to reset that, get rid of its historical, its all-time results. And then this one I'm going to edit in the staking rules, and I'm going to add this rule here, liability or amount to win. Click plus, and I'm going to click this one. Calculated stake is liability for lay bets. So I'm risking the same amount for every bet. When the odds are higher, it means I'm going to win less. And when the odds are lower, I could win more, but I'm risking the same amount each time. So this is going to risk €1 every bet. Let's start that one off. Okay, so now I have two level stakes bots going. One that you could argue is not pure level stakes because it's changing. And another one that will risk the same amount every time. So that's true level stakes betting for lay bets. So I can leave them going like that, and I can look at that data later. And actually, I'm just going to reset that one. When I have a few strategies going together, I like to start them at the same time, reset them at the same time, so I can compare them much easier. So they're placing bets on the same markets, and it's much easier to compare them when you do that. And as I say, I recommend looking at different strategies, and if they have a betting plan, a staking plan, like this simple sequence overall profit and loss, duplicate that and make it into a level stakes version, and and just run it on level stakes and see what you'll get for that. So for Dutching for target profit, how would you check this in level stakes? Well, basically this is, because it's Dutching, I think you would keep the Dutching rule, but get rid of the simple sequence overall rule, because you can't make this go down to just betting on one greyhound, because it's basically you're betting on three, you're spreading your bet among three. But get rid of this simple sequence, because this will increase the size of your bet after some losses, and that's recovery betting, and that will mess up the level stakes, and we can't see whether it works on level stakes. So you could duplicate that and get rid of the simple sequence one. This lay trap one is similar to the horses one, so just duplicate and get rid of the recovery. Trade before in play is using a percentage of betting bank, so I would duplicate that and just switch it to level stakes. For the football lay the draw, again, I would duplicate it and then run it without the hedging out part. So just so you know, what happens if you just laid the draw and didn't trade out? So the point of the lay the draw is its trade out function, its hedge function. It's supposed to make it more profitable than just, laying and leaving it to go. So I would duplicate it and just make a simple lay the draw pre-match and no trade out, and compare that to this one. And I might also change the level stake to €1 and also do the level stakes as €1, so it's more comparable instead of €5 to €1. And just by duplicating it and trying to work out what the staking plan is and trying to make a level stakes version, I think that will help you understand the software a little bit better and understand the staking, how staking works on it. After you've done that part 7, just duplicated and edited them. I said first try to change them to level stakes for monitoring the core strategy edge to see if it works, because as I said, long term these won't work on level stakes because they have no real market conditions, like telling you only bet on certain kinds of dogs, only lay certain kinds of horses, only lay the draw in certain kinds of matches, like depending on recent form or number of goals or in-play statistics of how many shots on goal there are or something. You need to add those market conditions to make them profitable. And also, while you're reading through these and trying to make your own level stakes version, if you think, well, what about if I use a different staking plan, or what if I add a different condition, then start adding those in, duplicate and make your own versions, because you've only got 7 days to test out this software. So for example, I could take the level stakes horse lay the favorite level stakes one. I'm going to duplicate that again. Got so many duplicates now, I might need to rename them. And this one again, going to reset it to 0, and let's call that, this one we're going to add conditions, so I'm just going to call it edit 1. And this one I'm going to say, okay, I want to lay the favorite, but let's add a condition here. Let's go into my horse conditions and see, let me see, okay, I'd want to do it by race distance. Okay, I'm going to lay the favorite. Are favorites more likely to lose in short races or long races? Well, that's your opinion, isn't it? I think in a longer race, there's more time for the favorite to win because it's got more chance to, show what it can do. So I reckon the shorter the race, the better the chance for the other horses. So I'm going to limit to only allow laying the favorite up to a maximum of 1,000 meters. And for people working on furlongs, I think, well, how long's that? So let me think, what's 1 mile? Oh, that's 1,600. Oh my goodness. Go on, I'll limit it to 1 mile then. 1,600 meters. It does it in meters. 1,609. So okay, 1,610. So I've limited it to 1 mile or less races. So shorter races, I think. That's when I think there's more chance the favourite's going to lose. So this is my selection method. Okay, I've added a racing condition. Can I add any more? Let's have a look. Let's look at selection conditions. Oh, days since last run. Okay, I only want to lay favourites that haven't run for more than 50 days. So it's been quite a while since they last had a race. So their previous form may not be as valid. So I'm going to add that in. And so I've added two conditions there. So first of all, only short races under 1,600 meters, under a mile, and only horses that haven't run for a while, their last run was more than 50 days ago. So those favorites I'm going to lay. So now I have a selection method. So, and I'm doing that on level stakes. So I've run that, and that's going to run alongside these other strategies I've got, and see if that works. And this is the beginning of how you can use the BFBot Manager. If you ask BFBot Manager themselves, they will tell you this software is not meant for research. You should use other software for research, other data. This software is just for automating your betting system. But some people like myself, I use it for research. That I use it to kind of research my own strategies. So I will make lots of different versions of these strategies with different selection methods, and each time just changing one little part. So like I've got this version now. I'm going to duplicate that, have another version of that. Let's call it edit 2. And let's make another version of this. In my edit 2, what I'm going to do is, what if I'm wrong? What if it's not short races? What if it's long races? Okay, well, the minimum distance is that, and then it can go up to, it'll be forever, it'll be really long. Okay, so now I've got two different versions. I've got one that's laying the favourite in short races and one that's laying the favourite in long races. I've only changed one factor, and that's a key point. Only change one factor. If you change too many things, then when one does better than another, you don't know why. So I could then make an edit 3, an edit 4, edit 5, each time changing one factor, and then just let it go and see if it wins more or less money. And that's how you can start to research and build your own system, find your own selection method. And once you start doing with that, it becomes fun, and you go in the rabbit hole and you just spend hours researching strategies, bots on the BF Bot Manager until one day, bing, you find a selection method that makes profit on level stakes, and then you can start thinking about fancy staking plans. So first you need to find a selection method that works, and that begins by playing with the bots, changing them from their staking plan to level stakes, then adding in your own selection method conditions and adding variations of them to find out what works better. So we're up to 7 there. We've duplicated and edited the bots, put them on level stakes, and started adding our own ideas in, and just let them run. And something else you can do, and what if you can't find your own selection method? Because it's very difficult, actually. It is. Another way to do it is just get someone else's selection method. And you can get free tips from a website called tippingsports.com. Tippingsports.com was made by BF Bot Manager purely as a way for tip providers to submit their tips in a format that can be easily linked to the BF Bot Manager. So on the Tipping Sports website, there are lots of tipsters, and you can see their all-time records of the different top performing tipsters. You can sort them by sports. So you see the top performing football one is Betterminix. This is an official account by betterminix.com. So you've got websites that produce betting systems and betting strategies, and those kind of companies and businesses, they put their tips on here directly. And you can see monthly results. This is September. You can see the results from last year and all time, and you can go by different sports as well. And some of these tipsters cost money, and some of them are locked. When you see a padlock, it means this user has private tips, and you have to contact them or pay for those tips. Like this Betterminix, this guy, how much are his tips? Wow, these tips are €200 a month. Cheaper if you go longer. I've got other guys like this Autobots one is £40 a month, and you can see their performance up to now. When you look down, you can see why some of them put their prices as they are. But just at the top, we've got this guy called Fronty. He gives tips on, I think, greyhounds. It's horses, greyhounds. But you can see here, this guy, he had a very good run, and then he had a bad run, and he's just starting to pick up again. And his tips are free. So if you log in, and you can go to the tips site, tipsters page, and if you click on all time, you can see that Fronty guy at the top. And once you're logged in, you'll be able to see his tips. And we can see, it's greyhound tips. You can see his recent tips there. So you can see what kind of bets he's putting on. He has different point levels, I see, odds around here. So if you wanted to follow him, you would click on follow. Okay, so you've clicked to follow. The next thing you need to do is connect your Tipping Sports account to your BF Bot Manager software. So you go to your profile, and then you click on the Automated Betting tab. Then you go down, and here will be a link. that you copy, and in your BFBot Manager software, go to Manage Tips and click on Tips Autoloading. And on an open space, click on the URL column and paste that in, give it a name, Tipping Sports, and click Active, and it's now set up. Click Save. Then in your Manage Tips form, those tipsters' tips will arrive. This is a different account actually, so different tips are coming up, but Fronty doesn't have any active tips coming up at the moment, so nothing's going to show up in the BFBot Manager, so I followed a different one. But what you will see is that the tips from the tipster on tippingsports.com will come up here with the name of that person, of that account, like Underbot or Norsk Tipping, and what the event is and what the bet is will come up. So you can close that. So those tips are now imported. You can also get tips imported from football databases like betterminute.com, where you can research your own betting system based data from 111 leagues going back more than 11 years, I think. And then from those strategies you researched based on historical data, you can get those tips imported into the BFBot Manager as well. So there's more options there. You can look at betterminute.com for that. So my point here is that not only do you have the example strategies that come with the BFBot Manager that you can play with and try and find your own selection methods for, but you can also follow existing free tipsters on tippingsports.com or pay for profitable tipsters on tipping.com, or research if you pay for access to a historical football database where you can research historical trends in football that did work, then you can import those into the BFBot Manager. So there are a number of ways you can automate betting strategies. You can find ones that run entirely by themselves on the BFBot Manager that you research, you find the selection methods for, or you import tips from a tipping website or from an exterior database where you've researched your own. So in the example, let's take this one, Norsk Tipping. So if we wanted to bet on Norsk Tipping, there is an example bot strategy here called Bet on All Imported Tips, and this one says it will bet on all imported tips and selections with a level stake of £2. So that will bet on all of those imported tips, all of the tips in the managed tips form, be they under 2.5 or under 3.5 goals, or being on a football team, will bet on all of those. When will it bet? It will bet 5 minutes before kickoff. That's why there are no bets here. If I change this time to bet to 1 year, and then if I change the monitoring 1 year, that's a long time in the future. We only have markets for the next 1 day, so it can only bet on markets that are kicking off in the next 24 hours. So if any of these tips are due to kick off in the next 48 hours, then it will place bets on them. And it has. Okay, so it's placed the bet here. If it doesn't come up immediately, just give it time. So it's placed bets here on Slovakia Leverkusen. And once a bet is placed, it changes to a green background here saying I've placed a bet here. And so it's going through them now and it's placing those bets. And in your in the managed tips form, if it's red here, that means it hasn't managed to connect this tip to that market. One reason for that, I haven't loaded the over under 3.5 goals market, so it can't bet on that. So I have to introduce that market auto loading there. So you go to the auto load, go to the football. I need to add in that over under 2.5 and 3.5. Okay, save that. Auto load those, save and close. So those markets should get added, and it should be able to bet on those tips. It should find those markets, I hope soon, and that should change to black, unless those markets don't exist. They should exist, I think. But you can see it's gradually going through and it's placing those bets on those imported tips. If, for example, you were following different tipsters, like we've got, there's Fronty. Fronty's put some tips up. So if I want to bet, obviously, different stakes on, I want to bet more maybe on Fronty or something. So what you can do then, I could stop this actually. I will just duplicate this one, again, deselect then, select. I'm going to duplicate that, and instead of betting on all imported tips, if I go to the staking column here, this bet on all imported tips, this one, bet on imported selection tips, and here if I write fronty, this will only bet on fronty. Doesn't matter what is written in this name here. It says bet on all imported tips. That doesn't matter. If this rule has fronty's name, it will only bet on tips from fronty. It will no longer bet on all. So if I turn this on, it's only going to bet on fronty tips. There's fronty. Yep, I've got the text is in black here, so those markets exist. And it's helpful now to give it a name, like change the name to fronty tips. So now I'm all betting on fronty. And you can do this for all the different tipsters or strategies you're betting on. So I could duplicate this one again. Okay, let's get this one. Let's change this to Norsk tipping, because I've got another one I'm betting on there. And I need to change his staking rule to Norsk tipping. So here the staking, bet on imported selection tips, Norsk tipping. So now that will bet on that one. So I can click go on that. So now I've got two strategies betting on imported tips, but this one's only going to bet on Norsk. I've spelt it wrong. It's got to be spelt right, otherwise it won't work. Okay, and must be spelt right to bet on them. So now I'll start placing bets. And one important thing I want to say here is imported tips can only be bet on once. So once one bot strategy is bet on these green tips, no other strategy can bet on them. So just these remaining ones here can be bet on by these remaining two strategies I've switched on now, which is why I switched this bet on all tips one, because if that bets on them, so all these bets it's placed, only one bet can be placed on each imported tip. So yeah, so I need to turn off that bet on all imported tips if I want individual bots to bet on individual tipsters or individual imported strategies from an exterior service like Betterminic. And what I've done here, I've changed the monitoring to 1 year, which is basically means it's now monitoring all the available markets. In fact, it's monitoring 2,407 markets at the same time, and that's going to put pressure on the software a little bit if you have too many markets. So it means it takes a little bit more time. Oh, there's a bet. Finally, Norsk Tipping has managed to place its bet. So it just takes a bit of time for it to find that market. So if you have two, but usually you don't have your software monitoring all the markets for the next year. So let's put that back down to 30, something more sensible, 30 minutes. Otherwise, it's going to be too slow. So it should. So usually you would have it just looking at the markets that are going to be starting soon. So in that way, you can add some free tipsters from tippingsports.com. One reason for doing that is also so that you can see that even while you are researching your own conditions, selection methods that may work for your own betting system, you can also either for free or pay for a service that has historically profitable selections, and you can have that running at the same time, placing bets for you automatically and maybe helping you build up your bank until you're at the stage where you have your own working selection system. So you can have both of those running at the same time. Or if you don't want to research your own selection method and just get someone else's selection method, there are people on Tipping Sports who have their betting systems up there, and those tips can be sent directly to your BF manager, and you can set up bots to place bets on them. And then you have your automated betting system running while you go off to do other things. Then you're also thinking, well, I've got 7 days to really test out this software and see what it does. If you still have time and energy, you can try to, number 9, add some extra bots based on those first bots. What I mean by that is that let's say you have a bot like this bet on all imported tips, and it's placing all these bets, at the currently available price, and the price is worsened by 2 ticks. What if you have the idea, actually, I also want to place a second bet on the same tips, but I want to ask for a higher price, a better price, and I want that price to sit there, even if it's a a higher price that's not going to be taken immediately. I want it to sit there, and maybe someone will take that price. I just want to ask for a higher price, because in the long term, if you can get even one tick better on your prices, that will influence your long-term yield significantly. So asking for a better price is a really good strategy to start off straight away with, even for your imported tips. So how would we do that? Because we can only bet on each tip once with imported tips. And maybe you have a selection method for something else, but you want another bot to place bets if that first bot places bets. So let's make a bot now that places bets if another bot places bets. So what I'm going to do here is, first I'm going to put this into its own group. Let's make this, let's just call it extra bots. Okay, we've got a new group called extra bots. And where's my new group? Okay, here's my group, new group, extra bots. And I'm going to deselect all strategies. And here, this is a new bot I'm building now, so I'm just going to add new. I'm just going to call it extra bets. Let's call it +4 ticks. I want this one to go in the extra bots group. Okay, there it is. And what I want it to do is, when this strategy has a bet, I want it to place the same bet, but just at higher odds. So to do that, I'm going to tell it in its selection conditions to only bet if the specified strategy has bets on the same selection. And here I look for that example bet on all imported tips. There it is. Add it here. And then I want it to allow betting if all selected strategies, that's this one, have bets on the same selection that are matched. It's placed the bet, and they're on the same market, and they are back bets. Got to tick this. So I want it to place a bet if this strategy has a bet that is matched on the same market that's a back bet. So it will allow betting in that case, and it will allow betting if that occurs. And I don't want it to bet on the current price. I want it to increase that by 4 ticks. Ask for a better price. Probably result in your bet being unmatched. That's okay. And one thing there, it's going to need time for that bet to be matched, I think. So betting 5 minutes before kickoff is probably not so great. So let's change that. Yeah, place your bet 30 minutes before kickoff, okay? And then we better make sure this one is also placing bets 30 minutes before. Oh yes, let's make sure you're 30 minutes before kickoff too. So this will place bets at the current price, -2 ticks, and this will place bets on whatever this bet's on, but at 4 ticks better. Good, yeah, and that's all I want it to do. Yeah, okay. So I'll let that go. One more thing I do need to add to this is a default bet rule in the selection conditions, default bet, and they're back bets, just to tell it place back bets. Okay, and then let that go. So it's going to place back bets when this one has bets, and it will place it at a higher rate. Let's see if it does that. But something I sometimes do when I'm testing is, because I don't want to sit around waiting for it to do that, again, I'm going to increase this time to like 24 hours or something. So that, yeah, bet on everything. And you too, bet on everything. Yeah, let's put that to 24 hours. This is just for testing purposes to show you it can place bets. Look, there it's gone. So it's already placed a bet there. And this one's unmatched. So that's Slovako. And if we look here, it's probably got Slovako too. Yeah, Slovako, there it is. This placed a bet 1.47. And this is requesting higher odds, and of course it's unmatched, isn't it? So it's going to wait for that to be taken. What happens if it gets to kickoff time and it's still not taken? Then it will just be a lapsed bet, and that will disappear. Well, hang on, what if I want it to stay in play and hope it still gets matched? Okay, let's do that. Yeah, let's duplicate that one. Okay, and I just want to add something else. Let's go to the staking and add bets persistence and say keep. So now those bets will stay in play. And so it'll place a bet. Probably, is that Slovakia again? Yep, Slovakia again. But this time, if it goes in play and it's not been matched, it will that bet will stay in play, and it might get matched in play. So you can create extra bots that place bets triggered by the first bot, which is triggered by either your selection method or by external tips that you're importing. And then you can try lots of different betting rules. You can like have an extra bot that hedges out at a certain point and test if that will improve the yield on the initial strategy you're following. So once you've done that, you've really, I think, got to grips now with what the BF bot manager can do, because you've got the example bots going, you've looked through all the different rules, you've set up market auto loading for them, you've found where the bets are, you've read the key parts of the manual, you know how to duplicate the bots, you can edit the staking, you can make them level stakes, you can add conditions to create your own selection methods, you know how to import tips from somewhere like tippingsports.com, you know how to create extra bots based on those first bots. So now you just play with it for a week. You have all your bots going, you fiddle with them and play with them, and after the end of the week, you either decide, yeah, I see what this software is doing, and then you might think, well, I want to try this betting idea, then try and make a bot that does that. And if it doesn't do what you want it to do, then contact the customer service at BF Bot Manager. They usually reply within 24 hours, even 12 hours, or within the hour. They're really fast, and they will help you with questions you have about getting the bot to work. So, yeah, so you've downloaded, you've got your 1 week trial. Give it a go, just play with it. And just note, it will only place bets if it is switched on and connected to the internet. If you close your computer, it will stop placing bets. If the internet gets cut off, it will stop placing bets. So you need to keep it running. And if you get excited and you want to try it in real mode, then please, please, please only run 1 or 2 strategies at very low stakes, because sometimes things act differently between simulation mode and real mode. One reason being that in simulation mode, all bets get instantly matched at their full stake, even if the liquidity doesn't exist. If you ask for higher odds, and they will remain unmatched until the odds creep up to that level. And also the information used is delayed by 60 seconds to about 2 minutes in simulation mode. In real mode, bets get placed with the current information, the live information, it's not delayed, and unmatched bets will sit there waiting to be taken. So in fact, I think there's more chance of unmatched bets being accepted in real mode than in simulation mode. And as you read it, it'll say that simulation mode is not meant to be used for researching. So I often use real mode with really small stakes, like 10p a bet sometimes, to research stuff in real mode. But simulation mode is for finding out, does the bot do what you want it to do? And then when you want to work out what's the real yield on it, maybe you want to use low stakes like 10p or £1 bet to see how it works in real mode. But whatever you do, don't suddenly see something working with £100 bets in simulation mode and do that immediately in real mode. Bad idea. Always, even if it's making hundreds in simulation mode, always go down to £1 bets or £10 bets, really low staking levels in real mode if you do try it out. Because I know within your 7 days you want to try real mode, so make sure you do it on low stakes, okay, just in case some setting is off and it just bets lots of money and you don't want it to do that. So in this video, this is meant for people who've just downloaded the BF Bot Manager, they want to play with it, they don't know what to do with it. This is my recommendation of what you try with it. Make sure in simulation mode, switch on all the example strategies, set up your markets, look at the bots, try to understand them, find where the bets are in the strategies, markets and bets page, download the manual, read section 2 and 3. They're really, really important to understand this software and get a hold of it. Then play with the bots, duplicate them, make level stakes versions of the example ones, then try adding some free tipsters from tipstersports.com, because they might make you some money. And then try creating extra bots based on those bots. That's different ways you can use this software in play. And just play with it for a week and see if you like it. And if you're interested in big data betting and use automated software, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Please do visit my website, bettingsystemsguide.com, to read more about big data betting and automated betting and my own recommended betting system. I have my own draw system that I developed using the BFBot Manager. I researched it on the BFBot Manager, and it works for me and it makes good profit. I'll just quickly show you my original test bots from my draw strategy. These are all £1 bets in real mode. You can see this is from October last year. This bot has made £180 from 1,900 bets since October. That's £1 bets. So if you're betting £10, that'd be 1,800. That's not bad. I have 4 bots, and they're all based on the same system. They're triggered by the A2 is actually placing bets at current odds. The A1 is placing bets on the same bet, but just at higher odds. And then I have another bot that places bets in play. If either team scores a goal, it places an extra bet. And I have another bot that places that extra bet, but at +4 ticks, again asking for a higher price. And that's an example how if you find one core pattern, even if it doesn't have that bigger yield, because my core pattern only has a yield of about, I think, 3% or something, but other add-on bots can increase that and make that much better. So my A1 bot has, I think, a yield of about 10%, and then the other in-plays are about 10, 15%, 30%. The BFBot Manager does work if you find a system that has a selection method, and you can build a bot system around it and test that it works on low stakes, and then you can ram that up to bigger stakes and start making some real money. You can follow my draw system, and I'll send you the bots for that if you want. It's £100 a month to follow my bot system. So the core strategy itself doesn't have that much of a yield, just 2.2%, but over the long term and together with the other bots that go with it, it can make a significant amount of money. So you can follow me as well if you like. Another thing I do with my BFBot Manager, which I recommend on bettingsystemsguide.com, is I research historical betting patterns using a historical football database called the Betterman Builder from betterminic.com. Please go to my website and click through my website to go there so you can be my referral. And also, if you do want to try BFBot Manager after looking at my video and you haven't signed up yet, please click through my link as a way to say thanks. That really helps me out because I'll get a little bit of a commission from them if you do sign up for them. I use all this stuff myself, so I use strategies from the Betterman Builder and get their picks sent to the BFBot Manager, and it automatically bets on them. As I said, I have my own betting system I developed with the BFBot Manager, and I put those tips now up on Tipping Sports. You can follow that there too if you want. So that gets automated. I also wrote something called the Staking Plans book, which was based on research using the staking machine software to create staking plans to go with stuff. Yeah, my website explains about the betting system I use. So please go take a look at my website if you want to know a little bit more about my betting system. If you want to see more videos about how to use the BFBot Manager made by a veteran user, then please like and subscribe, leave a comment, say what do you want me to make a video about, which bit are you trying to understand how to use the BFBot Manager. It's a great piece of software, but I know it can be a bit complicated. It's got a free 7-day trial, so do go and give it a try. Click through the link on my website or under this video and have a play around with it and see if it's something you want to keep using. And when you do try it for the first time, I recommend trying these 10 steps. Good luck, guys. Thank you for watching.